guys, my name is Michael and welcome to the third tutorial of our GSimpleAction. In this tutorial we are going to move on with our GSimpleAction, and today we are going to learn a new function, and of course we are going to learn new kinds of things which we can create with this simple action. Until now you saw how GSimpleAction works and you saw how the activate signal works. Now in the next minutes you are going to see together with me how other functions works. In this case, the first function which I'm going to introduce you, it is called GSimpleActionStateful, and once that you call basically this function, let me say I'm going to call it right here because I want to give a purpose for the simple action, which means GSimpleActionStateful sets the action as enabled or not. So the action must be enabled in order to be deactivated. So this is very important. You will see in other videos where I'm going to create another playlist where you can check these kind of things. Do not try to set something to true or false if that one was not activated. Very important for you to understand there is a difference between activated and enabled, which means at this point you should understand. So an action must be enabled in order to be activated or in order to have its state change from outside colors. Okay, good. So now we have two parameters or arguments which you need to pass to this function. The first one is the simple action, and the second it is Boolean, which means true or false. Okay, so this is the function. Now of course we need a simple action, and I'm going to say nope, not a string, false. Now I'm going to remove this cast right here because at this point the simple action gets used. How exactly happens? It's quite easy. You should already know. When you call GSignal connect with a new action, basically the first argument of GSignal connect matches with the first argument of the callback all the time. So now because you call the new action GSignal connect, basically when you call it you pass the new action. That's the thing which you have it here. Because you have the new action here, you are going to set it to false. Okay, now I think I need to GSimpleAction. Yes, I need to write it. It was wrong type. Okay, now should work fine. Let's see. At this point what do we have? We have a new, and once that I click this button it says the item was activated. Click it because you click it, but now watch, you see it's not working anymore. Why is not working? Well, it is not working because we decide to not work with it anymore, which means we decide to set enable to false. I'm going to comment this part right now because I don't want to have it. And now let us move on with the next function. The next function which I'm going to introduce you, it is called the GSimpleActionStateful. This function basically is a little bit different. Now we can see together we have a parameter type which we didn't have it before, or at least we do have it before, but we didn't work with it. But with this function we are going to work and see how it's happening, but a little bit later. Now let's see. GSimpleActionStateful creates a new stateful action. All future states values must have the same G-variant type as the initial state. So if the state G-variant is floating, it is consumed. That's very important. So the first one is the name of the action. The second one is the parameter which you may pass it to the handler for the activate signal, basically, which are where it will match with this one, and of course the initial state for the action, the way how the action should look like. What exactly means we are going to see. Now let me call this function. The first thing which we need, I'm going to create a new action, and this time I'm going to say open action. Why I'm saying open? Because the next item which we had here created was marked with open. Okay, now the open action, this time let me move this part right here, it will be replaced the GSimpleAction new with the GSimpleAction new stateful, and here of course we need again the open. And the next thing which we need when we create it, we need a parameter and a state. We are not going to work with a parameter right now. We are going to work instead with a state. Why I'm not working with a parameter? Because I'm going to let you for the last part, which means for the close item. Because I want to be sure that you understand whole difference. This one, and the next one. Okay, for this, what we need to create a state first. So G variant state, and now here I'm going to say state, and we are going to create a boolean G variant boolean new boolean, and here I'm going to say true. What means you'll see in a second. And now because we have the state, basically we pass the state to the open action. Let me compile it and run it. Okay, the activate callback has a problem. And why is that? Let me open a little bit. Of course, yes, it's true, because I'm not using the simple action. So you know what? I'm going to uncomment this part back, and I'm saying true. Even if it's true, it is not the right thing, but I want to be sure that everything works fine. Now the next thing here, open action. We are not quite working with it, but instead of it, we need to put it to our GAction map at action. This is very important. Now let me compile it and run it. And at this point, as you can see, we have the new item and we have the open item. Once that I click it, you see the check item is gone, and now it's coming back. So basically this is what you are doing. You are setting a state, a boolean state, and once that you create that boolean state and you set it to true, basically you create the item with two states in this case, like for example on and off. So basically now it's on, it is marked, you check it, and now you set it to off, which means it is unchecked. And this is basically how you create this kind of things. And of course, if you now, for example, you want to check the state, maybe if you call the GAction get state, then you can of course see when exactly it is selected or activated. So in this case we are going to do the same story as well for a second, which means at this point we are going to create the open callback with the activate, of course. So open action, and here we are going to say this time open callback. Now let me copy this part right here. Whoop, not 3 times, sorry. And here it will be open callback. The item open was activated, which means at this point, let me see, it should work fine. Yes, every time you click on it, you see everything works fine, and the simple action gets enabled all the time, because here I really need to stop it. So if not, it will be stay checked all the time. Let me see, open, and it is still there. What I'm doing wrong here? Well, it is quite clear, because the open item which I created, let me see again, basically we create it with a true state, we add it to our action, and then we are checking the activate signal. And at this point, the open callback, when get called, basically the item open was clicked gets printed, and at this point, as you can see, this mark, it does not get removed. For these kind of things we are going to check in another video, because you need to understand how you can change this state. Now at this point, when you just that to understand, at this point when you monitor the activate signal on the open action which has a state which is true in this case, because we decide to have it as true, which means we put that check sign in front of the item name, in front of the open name label, then basically you can check it and uncheck it all the time you want to. But when you monitor the activate, then you need to handle that thing right here. So you know what, I'm going to handle, even if I wasn't it wasn't my case. So G variant, because I wanted to do it in another video, but you know what, I'm going to do it here also as well. Action state, we need an action state, that's very important. So action state, basically we are going to point it to G action how we call G action get state, yes. And here, because with the help of G action we get the actual state of our simple action. Now let me remove the cast right here because get used. And now the simple action, because we have it, now the next thing we need a flag. So G boolean flag, and here we're going to say G variant get boolean. Why I'm saying this, because you really need to know, you will see later how you can check those parameter types and so on, but we know because we created a new boolean, so we need to get that boolean, which are basically matching action state. And now let's see, if flag is equal to false, for example, then let's say G print the open item was checked, else and here I'm going to copy this part, was unchecked. And of course we need to call now a new function which is called GSimpleActionStatState. So the GSimpleActionStatState basically sets the state of the action. This directly updates the state properly with property to the given value. This should only be called by the implementer of the action. Users of the action should not attempt to directly modify the state. Instead, they should call GActionChangeState. You will see that in another video, in the next video. Now I'm going to say now right here we need the state, which means it is the simple action, and of course the G variant new boolean set it to true. And now I'm going to copy this part right here, copy, paste, false, let me format it, and let me see if it's working. It looks good. Now when I click the open, it is checked. It says the open item was activated, the open item was unchecked. Whoa. I'm going to delete this thing here because we don't need it anymore. So let me compile it again. Now the open is checked. It says the open item was unchecked and the check mark is gone, and now the open item was unchecked and the open check mark is there again. So basically this is how you work with GSimpleActionStateful together with GSimpleActionSetState. In the next video we'll see how we can work with the parameter as well, so that we work with all three together. So I'm going to stop right now. That being said, thank you guys for watching. If you like it, please subscribe, share with your friends and neighbors, and until next time, see you guys.